So Marvel Spider-Man 2 is, in my opinion, one of the safest games that I've played in a very long time. Please note that this is the fourth iteration, in a sense, depending on how you actually, categorize it, of this new Spider-Man franchise that has been birthed by Insomniac Games. Yes, it is inspired by the Arkham games. However, there doesn't really seem to be, in my opinion, a lot of risk being taken in this particular title. Now, this is not a bad criticism. However, this is, in my opinion, some kind of a call to action that the developers and even the fans probably start to inquire of Insomniac how they're going to revolutionize their action game development in representing that as well in a game like Wolverine. Because yes, this game is already made. This game was already in production when Miles Morales was, seeing a lot of success, or right as it went out the door. So I can understand that 3 years ago, their minds were probably trying, or even maybe earlier, their minds were probably trying to wrap around how they were going to accomplish what it is they have today. You see, a game that you receive in your hand today, the best way to look at it is to actually look at it from the lens of 3 years previously, when that game probably entered into, its full, scale production in a sense. And that's the best way you can judge a game, if you get what I mean. But in seeing that, it goes in to say, okay, let's just say this game was, its conceptions were somewhere around 2019, 2020. And a lot of what it is that they brought was stemming from that time. That's all fine and dandy. The Wolverine game, nonetheless, seems like it will probably do what Miles Morales did for the franchise. And we would love to see those risks being taken. Because if you play this, Spider-Man 2 game, it basically is like a Miles Morales continuation. If you played Miles Morales, there's almost no difference in regard to a lot of the systems and mechanics that are introduced into the game, because you can count the systems and mechanics, very in one hand, if not on three fingers. Your web gliding, mechanic is actually pretty cool. I like it. It's very good. It's a huge change in the traversal of the game. At first, when people saw it, they were like, we don't want, Spider-Man gliding or whatnot, but it's a very fun way to move around the world. And that's a big win for me. The second thing will be the parry system. Now, the challenge of the parry system is it doesn't necessarily, help to resolve what happens when you get to difficulty scaling. And I'm going to mention that I'm going to talk about this in a different video, because they try their best to mitigate for it. But I think I see what it is that they're doing when it comes to, the way the game should deal with combat. And then, you have some new special moves that are available in regard to, say, the Spider-Man characters. And now you have two characters that are playing in the game simultaneously. Yes, those are the things that have been added, and they don't necessarily take the risk that I would love to see from a studio like this. However, it does take the risk in sense of implementing them in a video game. And this is one thing I usually say when I see Insomniac Games is, I may judge or I may evaluate their games by what I'm getting now, but I also love to evaluate it from what it is that they will be able to pull off in the future, because I see these games that are already here with us as the groundwork, the foundation that they're going to launch off of. Because I'm looking forward to their Wolverine game. Many of you know I'm not a Spider-Man fan, but Wolverine, oh yes, sir. I am a Wolverine fan, that is for sure. And so you're going to hopefully see me, taking steps to playing that game and dealing with that game. And I would love to see them take a lot more risks than they've actually taken in this particular Spider-Man game, because they're going ham and they're doing something really good. However, I just felt that it was way too safe, for my liking and for my taste, especially based on the expectations I have from them. But then at the same time, I still have to step back and say, okay, I know this is safe, but they were playing a game, in their minds, they were getting success and developing these games close to when they had released the previously, successful titles. So it makes sense like this, which also leads to possibly how they're going to approach Spider-Man 3, which is now the big question. How are they going to actually come to terms with the Spider-Man 3 game? How are they going to go ahead and implement that game? Or should they do an offshoot of a game that really does showcase what it is that they're capable of in pushing the envelope? Or should they continue with this traditional title, which, like I said in the beginning, that there are about 4 iterations. I meant 2018 remastered, Miles Morales, and now Spider-Man 2. So altogether, you have this package that just seemed really, They're all like the same sandwich in a sense. There's not really any variation in terms of flavor. It's like you go to Subway, you get variations of sandwiches, but what is really the big deal out of all of them? Sometimes you could have an ingredient here or there that kind of gives you a slight difference, but you're still getting a Subway sandwich anyways. I guess that's how I'm going to put it. It's not a bad thing. I like Subway. Many people like Subway, in terms of their offering. Some of you are probably going, yuck, I don't like Subway. I prefer my favorite other sandwich shop. I understand, but this is how I perceive the, Spider-Man 2 game overall. But it's still a good game. It doesn't take away from how good the implementation at its core is. Like, if you've never really played the other games, let's say you played 2018 and you came to this one, it is a huge improvement. What really kind of almost, it doesn't betray, but it almost betrays it, is the Miles Morales game, because that game came in with like a lot of flash. That game that's what in the series, it's my favorite, because it really did bring a lot of really cool elements and added to the game. But then, the Spider-Man 2 game, I was thinking we're probably going to get like an iteration, but instead it just kind of took all of that together, blended it together, and implemented it well, but didn't push the envelope, in my opinion anyways. I'll stop talking. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.